People always ask me the same thing when they're planning a trip to Valencia. How many days do I actually need to stay? And my answer is always the same, 3. But the thing is, it really kind of depends on what type of traveler you are, where else you're going while you're in Spain, what your priorities are, what your budget is. So in this video, we're going to be going through a couple different itineraries that you can do, and you can figure out which one is going to be best for you. So you can visit Valencia and make sure you're not leaving anything important behind. Buen dia, everybody. I'm Kevin. I've been living here since 2018, and my whole channel is about making you travel responsibly to Valencia and get a better experience out of it. I've helped dozens, maybe hundreds of people plan their trips to Valencia by now, and I always get the same question: how many days do I need? But before we get into it, if you want a quick and dirty answer, I do have pre-made downloadable itineraries that you can purchase in the link below for a weekend, 3 days, and 5 days with a custom Google map, a checklist, lots of extra details, everything you need planned and done. But if you're the type that likes to get their expectations right, figure out some things on their own before they make a decision, then this video is for you. We're going to be going through a 1-day itinerary, a 3-day itinerary, and a 5-day one. So let's get into it. So let's say realistically, you only have 1 day in Valencia, which happens to a lot of people. You're going to Barcelona, to Madrid, to Sevilla, you're flying to another country, so you only really have 1 day to get to know the city. Here's what I recommend we should see. First, you're going to start at La Plaza del Ayuntamiento. This is the City Hall Square. This is the main heart of the city, so you have to start here first. You get a good picture. If you have some time, you can go into the City Hall, go up on the balcony, and take a selfie from there. It's free, so that's nice. From there, I suggest going over to the Mercat Central. Here you can go inside, you can get a coffee, you can get some food, maybe some local fruits if you want, or even a souvenir. But I do recommend you actually buying something when you go into the Mercat Central, because it's all local producers and they get kind of tired of having a lot of tourism but not anybody buying. So be nice to the locals, help them out. I really recommend something. There's really good pastisseries. From there, we're going to go into La Llotja de la Seda. This is the Silk Exchange. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's absolutely gorgeous. No matter how long you're spending in Valencia, you have to come here. This was basically the head of all Mediterranean trade in like the 15th century, so 100% worth visiting. After that, we're going to go over to the cathedral. This is about a 5-minute walk away, so everything's pretty close. And if you want a really nice view of the city center when you're in the cathedral, you can go up the Micalet Towers. It's only like €2. It does have like 200 stairs, but it gives you a super cool view of the entire city. But go through the cathedral, enjoy your time. It's absolutely gorgeous. It allegedly has the Holy Grail, so that's cool. And then after this, you're probably going to be a little tired, so this is the perfect time for a nice paella lunch break. Now, normally I tell people to get them at the beach, but there are a couple of really good restaurants that are in the city center, and I always keep them updated in that guide I told you about earlier. So here's your chance to get really good paella, and a little pro tip: basically anything that just has signs out front in English, I feel like you should just run away from that because those are tourist traps. So after lunch, time is running short. We don't have a lot to see, so I suggest you go all the way down towards the City of Arts and Sciences. And the first thing I want you to do is to go into the Museu Faller. This is the Falles Museum, which, in case you didn't know, is Valencia's biggest festival. It's absolutely amazing. I have lots of videos on that as well. We'll talk about that more. But the point is, in this museum, you can see the winning ninots from the last 100 years. And so these ninots are one piece of one preserved artwork that they keep every single year. So when you start from the early 1900s to today, you really get a good idea of how Valencian society has evolved and adapted over the last 100 years. Super cool time capsule that just gives you a really quick history lesson into the city of Valencia. And then you leave the museum, which is good because it's probably starting to be a little bit cooler now in the day, and you can walk out and see the City of Arts and Sciences across the street. La Ciutat de les Arts y les Ciencias is an enormous complex with several buildings, including Europe's largest aquarium, but you probably won't have time to actually go in them because they are really big, but that's okay. You'll save some money and you can explore the outside because the architecture is unlike anything you've ever seen before. And if you go up next to the Music Palace and look down onto the Hemispheric and the Science Museum at the right angle, at the right time of day, with the light reflecting into the water. It looks like a fish. So great for pictures, and it's one of Valencia's most famous landmarks. And then finally, you can walk back or take the bus and go to Rusafa. This is sort of the hip, trendy neighborhood, so you can get dinner here, maybe get a drink as well. This is the best way to end your time in Valencia. So yes, one day does give you enough to get a quick little essence of the city, but it is going to be a little rushed and you're going to have to do some walking. Option 2 is 3 days. This is my preferred way to see the city. When anybody ever asks me, I say this is probably the best for most people. This way you get to slow down, experience the city a little bit more, try some more meals. I think it's a really good option. Day 1, I think you should spend the morning looking at La Ciudad Vella, right? This is the Plaza del Ayuntamiento, everything we talked about from the last itinerary, or a lot of those things we're going to be seeing in the morning here. The cathedral, an archaeological museum, lots of palaces, all of these are things you get to see on the first day. And because you're not in a rush, you can just stay in the general area, walk through these labyrinthian streets, and at the end of the day, enjoy a drink and a dinner in El Carmen, which is a really cool neighborhood that's not as hip as Rusafa, but it has its own special vibe to it. Okay, on day 2, I think you can start your day by enjoying the Jardins del Turia. This is going to be the giant 10-kilometer park that runs through the entire city. It is the lungs of the city, and I think it's really cool whether you're traveling by yourself, whether you're traveling with a partner, or with kids. It's a great thing to see. And this is basically where I go running a couple times a week. So you can start at the Torres del Serrans, which is one of the old medieval towers that used to be the gate to the city, and they overlook the gardens, which used to be a river, but that's a whole nother story. So you can go up the towers, get a nice view, and then go down and walk through the river, which are gardens now, but we still call it a river. So anyway, you can walk through the gardens all the way, and it ends at the City of Arts and Sciences. And since we have an extra time, you're able to go in and see some of these museums or the aquarium. My personal suggestion is to prioritize the aquarium because I think it's a little bit more special than the Science Museum. But if you're coming with kids and they really love science, or you're just a big science nerd, then that's a great thing to see too. And if you do want to go see the aquarium or the Science Museum, I have a calculator on my website that tells you whether or not the Valencia tourist card is worth it. So you can use that calculator and figure out if you're actually going to save money or not. So it's a good thing. Anyway, after you enjoy your time in the City of Arts and Sciences, then you can go, just like in the other itinerary, we're going to go to Rusafa. It's relatively close by, so it's not too hard to get there. Now, I really suggest just enjoying your time. Rusafa has so many cool streets to see. The buildings are gorgeous. There's not as many like huge monuments, but just sort of get lost there and you're going to have a great time. There's a lot of really cool bars. All of like the newest ones usually pop up in this area. And if you want to get like a nice drink or a vermouth, this is a good area to do it before dinner. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, you can go see the Museo Fayet when you're in the City of Arts and Sciences because it's right there. In day 1, we saw medieval Valencia. In day 2, we saw modern Valencia. And day 3, we're going to go to the beach. Because even though everybody thinks of this Mediterranean gem, the city center is actually not super close to the beach. So I do usually suggest saving a special day, or at least a special morning to go over there. So we're going to start the morning in El Cabañal, which is an old fishing town, which is now just part of the city. It's now its own just a neighborhood, but it used to be its own town. Really cute facades, short buildings, super cool to look at. Just go ahead and walk through this as well. And then if you want, you can also get a drink or desmorzar. There's lots of places here that you can do that as well. And then after that, go to La Malvarrosa. That's going to be the main beach. It's the closest one. You also have La Malvarrosa, La Patacona, and then Alboraya, right? So these are beach, and then another town, which also has its own beach. You have a huge amount of sand. If you want to just lay out, get a tan, you can go swimming. There's volleyball nets everywhere. There's a huge boardwalk with lots of restaurants and bars. So there's a little bit of everything for everybody. And here, if you're spending 3 days, this is where you should get your Valencian paella. All the restaurants tend to be a little bit better at the beach, but again, in my guide, I have some of my favorites. But regardless, there's a lot of really cool ones here that are cooking them over a wood fire, really traditional. This is one of my favorite spots to get, besides, of course, from my father-in-law. And on day 3, depending on how much time you have left, people's flights leave differently, or maybe you're taking a train or driving. If you have time, at the end of day 3, it's really cool to go see La Albufera. This is a freshwater lagoon lake that's right next to the Mediterranean Sea, but it's protected. And this is where like the heart of Valencian gastronomy comes from. Everything that we use to make all of our famous Valencian dishes used to come from La Albufera. So if you can, and you do have time to experience it, 100% recommend. Option 3, let's say we have 5 days in Valencia. Here's how we're gonna break them up. On day 1, or you can use this another day, doesn't matter, but I actually suggest going on a day trip to leave the city and go to Xàtiva. For a long time, this used to be a capital city. It's kind of a smaller town now, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and it gives you a really good idea of what sort of an authentic Valencian town looks like, which is going to be really different from the city itself. You can go there. They have a medieval castle that is really cool as well, so you can probably spend a full morning up until lunch to go there. And all you have to do to get there is take a local train. It's super easy. And then on your way back, you take that same local train. It should only cost between like 5 and 10 euros. So at this point, we basically have the same 3 days, one morning block, one morning or evening with Albufera. So we have a few more spots that we can fill up. Now, depending on the type of traveler you are, you might want to go to a spa, you might want to relax, you might want to take a little nap. All of that's fine. So I like to leave some wiggle room. But for the rest of the time, we're going to fill it in with some of the little hidden secrets that not everybody goes to. Some places like El San Nicolau, which a lot of people call the Valencian Sistine Chapel. Okay, that is absolutely gorgeous. It's a little bit more expensive now. It's like 16 euros to visit, but it's a Baroque church that's absolutely filled with every single inch with gold and decoration. They do a light show. It's really cool to see. So if you have the extra budget, I do recommend it. You also have some other places you can visit, like San Juan del Hospital, which is the oldest church in the city. It's really cool to see. You have the National Ceramics Museum, which is actually just, I recommend it because it's inside the Palau de los Highways, which is a really cool palace in the middle of the city that's really nice to visit. And if you like ceramics, of course, that's cool too, but that's not what I go for it. You also have time to go see lots of other places. You can visit the old university. There's a lot of times that you can just spend mostly in the old city to see all the other things you wouldn't normally have time to see. And just a couple quick practical notes. Please note that if you're coming here on Sundays, most monuments, museums are going to have different times, different visiting times, but a lot of them are free. So especially all of the municipal ones, those are all going to be free. So that's something to think about when you're moving things around with this itinerary. Second, Valencia can get a little expensive sometimes, okay? It's not as cheap as it was 20 years ago anymore, okay? So don't come with the mindset that everything is just gonna be super cheap. You're probably gonna be spending the same food prices as you would in any other major city, or, you know, places maybe a little bit cheaper than somewhere like in France, but generally don't expect to like pay nothing. So think about that when you're planning your budgeting for the trip. Third, if you're coming in March, which is during Les Falles, basically everything I said is just like thrown out the window. It's absolutely chaotic. Everything changes. That deserves its own its own dedicated video and itinerary. So if you are coming during Falles, send me a message or leave me a comment and we'll talk about that. So to wrap it up, one day just gives you a quick highlight of the city. If you're staying for 3 days, that'll give you a good idea of the main aspects of the city. And if you're staying for 5 days, you get to enjoy some of the towns, you get a little bit more of the city in depth and without rushing so much. So it depends on your travel style and what you want to see. So if you have any questions, please leave your comments below or send me a message through my website. I'll respond to every single one of them. And like I said, I'll leave links to all of my itineraries, guides, all these other resources I have, including my travel consultation services, so you can contact me and we can figure out the best way for you to see the city. So thanks so much. I hope this was helpful and bon viaje.